Hello, everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Oh, I'm so excited that so many of you are here. This is super exciting. Oh, my goodness. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Let me know in the chat where you are joining us from. If you are new here and it's your first time being on one of my lives, I'm Mia James. I am a financial wellness coach, and welcome to Feminine Finance. So, we're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are here to talk about financial concepts and make speaking about finance fun and from a feminine place. Hey, Natasha, thanks for being here. So last week, if you weren't here, I shared some alarming statistics on the connection between our financial decisions and levels of debt and how that impacts our mental health. And recently, I just saw another startling statistic that Black women actually lost 106,000 jobs in April, more than any other group in the country. So that is very alarming. And I don't know about you, but if you ever lost a job, that and you maybe depending on your financial situation, you may not have been in a place where you can float yourself until you find another job in several months. And so that can definitely impact, your mental health and being able to provide for yourself and your family. So today, I'm super excited to have a mental health coach on this evening, and she is going to share how you can begin to heal any financial wounds you've had and pivot to an abundant future. I'm super excited. I met her through one of my business partners, and she is absolutely amazing. She has great energy, and if you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And most importantly, share. If there's someone you know that needs to be in here tonight, maybe they've experienced some financial trauma, go ahead and send the link out to them and invite them in. This is a safe place for us to be able to discuss these things that typically we haven't, or historically, I should say, we haven't discussed. So, a lot of people, are hurting right now financially, and there's no reason why we cannot change our financial destinies. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Mrs. Shawnti Refuge. I'm going to bring her up. And let me tell y'all, let me read her bio because she is amazing. She has a lot of outstanding things that she's doing in the community. And I'm so glad that she's talking about financial trauma. So, Shawnti Refuge is a master certified mental health coach, keynote speaker, and author of the best selling book, Quiet as Kept, specializing in guided journaling for mental wellness. So, who's my journalers? Let me know in the chat. I know this is a journaling group. So, let me know in the chat if you're here. After overcoming severe depression and anxiety through journaling, Shawnti developed her own program empowering individuals to heal and thrive without medication. Amen. She is the creator of Shawnti Refuge Journals, which carries a series of guided journals designed to help others release past traumas. With her relatable, no nonsense approach, Shanti's mission is to inspire personal growth and self awareness. She's the founder of Staying Stuck Ain't Cute Coaching. Amen to that. Staying stuck definitely is not cute. And I like that she said ain't. Praise the Lord. It sure ain't. And a passionate advocate for mental health in both business and community settings. As the host of the Quiet as Kept podcast, she dives into the unspoken struggles within the Black community, offering real talk, healing insights, and guided journaling practices to help listeners reclaim their peace. So without further ado, let's welcome Shawnti to the stage. Hey Shawnti, how you doing? I think you're on mute.
And I'm running my mouth like I'm not. Hey, happy Wednesday. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. I have a little headache, but this excites me. How are you doing?
I am well. Thank you so much for asking. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate that you thought about me and reached out. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I thank you for your time. I really enjoyed the session where I met you, and I was like, oh
Mhm.
shit, I'm gonna talk to the ladies.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's jump in. So, we got more. Welcome to everyone who's just joining us. Let us
Hello.
know where you're joining from in the chat. The chat is always live, y'all. So please, this is a safe space. No one can see the chat, so definitely feel free to use it for questions. Hey, Jen. So, Shanti, tell
Mhm.
us, what do you consider a financial wound?
Ooh, let's see. A financial wound is an emotional or psychological injury and is rooted in your past experience with money. And oftentimes is tied to scarcity or shame or survival. And it's what happens when you grow up watching your parents stress over bills, or you hear your mom and daddy fussing over the light bill or whatever. And as a child, we internalize that belief that you don't deserve wealth because you've always struggled. And so those wounds don't just fade with time, they show up in how we spend, how we save, how we give, or
Mhm.
sabotage. And if
Yeah.
we don't heal our financial wounds, they can keep you stuck in a cycle of lack, even if your income improves.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I was doing some financial trauma work, and I realized that what I learned growing up was to settle for second best.
Mm,
And I didn't realize that until I started uncovering financial traumas. So it is important, especially if you do have a certain type of relationship with money, to kind of look back, like what stories and things and did you hear growing up, or what meanings did you assign to things growing up, and think about how it connects to how you deal with money today. So the next thing I wanted to ask you is, how can people identify if they've experienced financial trauma?
woo. So if money makes you anxious, even the thought of it, you don't even look at your bank account, and you're getting paid, but it's going to the bills or going wherever it's going. So you avoid it, or you're overly controlling, then you might be dealing with financial trauma. So in that case, you would ask yourself, do I freeze when it's time to check my bank account? Or do I feel guilt or fear every time I spend money, even on the things that we need? Or you can ask yourself, do I avoid conversations about money or feel unsafe asking for what you're worth? And that is in relation to, like, a job, or if you're an entrepreneur, you're, lowballing yourself because you don't feel like you're worth the price that you're really worth. You're probably worth 10 times more than that, but that's a whole nother story. But these are all red flags. So, trauma doesn't have to come from one major event. It could be the result of repeated patterns of instability, struggle, or financial neglect.
Wow, that is a lot to think about. Because one thing, like when I'm speaking to my clients who are business owners,
Mm.
I noticed that, a lot of times I have to tell them, one, they're not charging enough, or two, they're not paying themselves enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as women, especially, we tend to struggle with that money piece of like making sure we charge our worth. I know that's not everybody, but have you found that to be the case as well?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, we, as especially with women, we downplay ourselves and thinking we don't deserve what we really deserve. And that's even going outside of money. So, yes.
Ooh, so you touching on some, okay, I'm kind of going a little bit off here, but my wealth coach actually talks about deservingness. She has a whole book on
Mm.
deservingness. And I'm just curious, like, what do you think is the connection between like deservingness and your relationship with your money?
One more time.
Oh, I was saying, what do you think is the connection between deservingness and your relationship with your money?
Your confidence and your self esteem tells it all. But then you don't want to cross that line into arrogance, and you charging $1 million for something that's worth 10.
That's
So
true.
but some people do it. I ain't knocking the game. If your confidence and your self-esteem, people buy you. They don't buy your product or your service. They're buying you. So if they believe you, then charge. Don't undermine yourself. Charge.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Why do you think people have such a hard time, you know, figuring out what that is? that they should, for example, if they should be charging a certain amount for their services?
Self-doubt, self-sabotage, and listening to other people who have nothing to do with none of their business. 9 times out of 10, there's somebody who's giving an unsolicited opinion who don't know anything about being an entrepreneur, don't know anything about providing a service, but they sure got mouth to, tell you what you should and shouldn't be charging. And comparison, that is also don't compare what you have and what you got going on with somebody else. Y'all can have the same exact product, but you have your sauce. They can't have your sauce. They can't do it like you do it. So stop
Mm.
comparing. Stop listening to those outside entities who don't know nothing. If you're going to listen to somebody, hire you a coach who is qualified to tell you, no, Shawnti, you need to charge more. Or come on now, girl, that's too much. And you have to be willing to open and listen. You have to listen. You can't be paying a coach and not listening to them. My recommendation, get a coach. They will not steer you wrong.
I second that. Get a coach, get a coach, get a coach. I know the people some of the ladies I know in here tonight, we all have a coach, right? And we have
Yeah,
different coaches for
good.
different things.
That
Because if
part.
people
Mm-hmm.
who are excelling that are at the peak of their game, they have multiple coaches. They might have a sales coach, they might have a product coach, they could have a health coach, because you want to find someone who is doing what you've done at a high level, and they can
Exactly.
help you and map it out for you, so you're not over here, i.e. me, making these crazy mistakes. Like,
Me
so
too.
I
You do yourself.
right,
Yeah.
exactly,
I
because
thought I could do it on my own. Baby, you
hmm
can't tell me nothing. I'm going to get this bag, baby. I think I spent the bag instead of made the bag, making all these mistakes on my own. And then I was like, okay,
amen.
let me get somebody who know what they're doing, who going to tell me how to do it the right way and not the hard way and the long way and the expensive way.
Exactly. And it comes down to peace of mind, right? Because you have somebody that actually knows what they're doing versus you figuring it out, messing things up.
Messing stuff up because YouTube
Yes,
University only going to tell you so much.
that part.
They
People,
ain't going to tell you everything.
they're not gonna tell you everything because people charge for wisdom. Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's not free all the time. So
Exactly.
yep. Coach Keitra says she second that emotion. Yes. Listen, I'm all about delegating. Okay. I am here for the
Yeah.
delegation. Like, I'm in finance, but I'm not in accounting. And I tell people I have a bookkeeper and a tax strategist. Can I
Okay.
do it myself? Yeah, but
Should I
that
know I
ain't
can't either? Yes.
yep, I'm not going to, because that's not my lane. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part. Stay in your lane.
Exactly, exactly. So, what are some habits that our listeners can implement to begin healing some of their financial traumas?
Start by telling the truth. That's the first thing. Be honest with yourself and about your money without being shamed. Because we've all been there. We've all done that. And then, of course, I recommend journaling regularly and, using prompts that deal with money, such as, what did I learn about money growing up? Or what money habits no longer serve me? Or when have I felt safe or unsafe with money? And answering prompts like that, and also reviewing your budget and doing affirmations, like all of that falls in line. And don't isolate. Talk to someone safe. Here we go again. Coach, get a coach who you feel comfortable with talking to about your money situation. There's a financial coach, or a trusted accountability partner. I always say get a coach. Get a coach. Because your support system, who you think it is never your support system. And when I say that, I mean your good girlfriend, your cousin, your favorite cousin, or your mama. That's not your support system. Not in it. It's not. I had to learn that the hard way, girl. So I tell everybody that is not your support system. Go to someone who has been where you are right now, who's moved beyond that, so they could come and pull you up with them. Not someone who's gonna say, "Oh, girl, you need to do this." Oh, I did it. That don't help. That doesn't help. Get you someone who is knowledgeable in the field. So get you a financial coach. and write it down and be honest with yourself. Don't get a coach and be lying to the coach. Coach gonna know when you're lying. We know, we have that sixth sense.
Preach,
Don't come in
preach.
here lying. You have to be ready to be open and honest with yourself and your situation.
I love that. Okay, so y'all see why I love Shanti? Like I've only met her once. This is my second time meeting her. But everything she said, she dropped so much wisdom and it's so simple, right? First and foremost, anytime you want to change anything in your life, whether it's money, health, whatever, you have to be self-aware and you have to be honest. The truth has to come out. So if you want to start in your journal, start in your journal. The next thing she said was get accountability. Now she said it is not your mom and them, not because of course our parents, our siblings, and everyone means well. However,
Mhm.
is that their zone of genius? Now, my mom is a whole payroll accountant. So if I need something in that realm, then yes, I will ask
Yeah,
my
that's
mother. But
different.
outside of that, no. I have separate
Exactly.
coaches for different things. I'm not going to go to my mom about investments just because she's a payroll accountant, right?
Exactly.
And you don't know everybody's motives behind
Mm,
your business. So you might be starting to succeed and do well, but you don't know how this person who is close to you is receiving that, because sometimes misery loves company, right? Sorry,
don't they?
Natasha was like not Pookie in
Don't
them.
they? Right, right. Not
So
Pookie in there.
yes, and Jen made a valid point too. She said family and friends can trigger you, but a coach is less likely because they're a unbiased third party, right? Of course, your family and friends, they want you, well, many times, hopefully, they want you to succeed.
Yeah,
So they
disclaimer.
might be risk averse, right? So they might not want you to take a risk, and that risk could be the thing that puts you over the edge to actually achieve your dreams. So you need someone that is neutral, that has walked the path that you've walked and been successful in it, and can give you that unbiased accountability and support that you need.
Exactly.
So, anything else that people should be aware of? Like maybe they're not self-aware and they don't realize that they've experienced financial trauma. How can people begin to discover it?
Start journaling about it. All that stuff will come out. And I've had that happen. We were doing a workshop and I was talking about, money mindset and where did you hear, stories about money that stuck with you. Some people didn't realize it. And as soon as I say money don't grow on trees, they light bulb come on. Yeah, my mom and them used to say that all the time. And I tell them, yeah, money does grow on trees. It literally does. That's
It
how the
does.
Federal Reserve is able to keep producing money. So yes, it does grow on trees, but or our moms or our family will say, "We don't have money for that," or "I'm broke," or saying things like that. There's power in your words, and stuff like that sticks to us unknowingly. So,
Yes.
and you'll know if you traumatized by it because you don't check your mailbox, you don't check your bank account. Because what I'm taking the mail for, I already know what's in there, a bill that I don't want to pay for, even though you got the money or may not, whatever the case may be, no judgment. But you ain't checking your mailbox because you already know what's in there. You're avoiding. Avoiding doesn't make it
Mhm.
go away. Avoiding makes it worse. So we need
Yes.
to face it, address it so you can heal. And the sooner you heal from your money trauma, baby, the money gonna be flowing into you.
Yep. 100%. I agree with you because I didn't even realize I had money trauma. Like I really had to sit down, and my wealth coach had given some different areas, categories, and I was like, "Oh, I've experienced this. I've experienced that." I was like, I didn't even realize, and like I tell this story all the time, but you know, the biggest aha moment for me, because I always tell people I grew up in the hood, but I didn't grow up poor, right? I was my parents, they provide everything was provided. However, my parents, they didn't believe in name brand clothes and stuff, and so
Hmm.
I had wanted some Nikes, right?
Oh, you
And
got
it's
them
not that
pro
big.
wings.
Hmm?
I said you got them pro wings.
For real, I sure did. You sure right. You sure right. Because my parents was like, yeah, no, we're not spending all that money for Nikes, right? Now I have a
Mm-hmm.
several pairs of Nikes now, is whatever. But I said, my dad will be like, I'm just gonna give you $100 bill. Now
Hmm.
that's all well and good that you gave me $100 bill as a kid, but like one, I didn't even realize the value of that $100 bill at the time, and it
Mm-hmm.
still went on something that I don't know what happened to that $100 bill today, right? It didn't cause me to make any better decisions, if you know what I mean. But what it did cause me to do as an adult, I'm aware of it now, but in the past, I would settle for second best just to have something like, oh, okay, well, as long as I have something, but it's not really what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that was one of the biggest revelations for me, in terms of financial trauma, just money being used to steer me away from what I really wanted. So sometimes it's not, just, like maybe you were evicted as a child.
Yeah. No, it's not always.
It might not be like that. It could be something completely different. So begin to think about, why do you make certain decisions, when you go shopping? Like me, I shop at high end stores, but I only shop on the sale rack.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. But then my wealth coach challenged us. She was like, but if you want something, occasionally it's nothing wrong with paying full price. I'm
I'm
not
glad
there
you
yet though.
occasionally.
I'm
I'm
not
glad
there
you
yet.
occasionally. Yeah.
But it's a reason because we always shopped on sale, right?
Right.
I remember one thing I bought full price was my college graduation dress. My mom was like, just go ahead and pay because it was $100, y'all. This was in 2003. And I was like, $100? Like, that's so much. I still got that dress, y'all, because I was like, I spent too much. So, Shanti, is there any parting words that you want to leave with everyone? And do y'all have questions in the chat? Let us get any questions for Shanti in the chat. Oh, hi, Juice. Juice is my
Don't
mom.
be shy. Hey, Juice.
My
Miss
mom
Juice.
said, "Look, mom is like she's justifying that $100." She was like, "Well, you got three pairs of shoes instead of one." I was like, "I know, mom, but I really just wanted the one. You know me. My mom knows I just like to have the the minimal, like what I need." I'm still like that to this day. I'm like, I don't need three. I just want the one that I want.
See,
But
exactly. That's how it should be.
any other questions in the chat, y'all? Look, Jen said, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
And it
Decisions.
don't.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Yep,
have to
that's
be
true.
It's all about being mindful.
Yep,
Don't
it
just be
is.
going out there, using money as your emotional release, like retail therapy, stuff like that. Get you caught up.
Yeah, 100%. Because I asked myself, is my future self gonna be happy that I did this later on?
Exactly. Or does it feel good in the moment?
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. Always ask how your future self is gonna feel. Anything else you want to add, Shanti, before we wrap up? And we'll take some questions in the chat too.
Yeah. All I have to say is to anyone listening or watching, know that you are worthy and deserving of all the great things in life. But you have to start with you. And you have to pull all of that negativity, deal with that trauma, deal with whatever it is that is stopping you from being your best self. You have to deal with it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to grow in the way that you're supposed to. We were not put on this earth to settle. We were not put on this earth to just survive. We were put on this earth to thrive. And it all begins with us. I budget
Amen.
once a month, Miss Jen. Once a month.
Yep, once a month. And for me, I have one larger spending plan, and then I actually do a date with my dollars every week because sometimes things
Oh,
change. Yeah, like I have annual expenses or
yeah.
quarterly expenses, so I just need to make sure that the money is in the right account at the right time. Or there's things that come up, right? Like if you have to travel, like sometimes you gotta move some money from your savings to your checking so you have money for your trip.
Right.
So I do kind
Yeah.
of look at things depending on what's going on in my life. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank y'all for being in the chat. Y'all know I love the chat. That's like very exciting
Hey,
for
you
me.
go down in the chat. I see. I'm about to come back.
Yeah, exactly. So Shanti, you want to tell everybody how they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. You can find me on my website, ShawntiRefuge.com, and I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I'm everywhere. Shawnti Refuge Journals. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm everywhere. It's not hard to find me, but you can start with my website where I offer coaching, guided journals, and resources to help you heal from the inside out. Um, and here it is. And
I
so
got it.
when you're ready to start, there it is. Thank you. If you're ready
Mhm.
to stop surviving and start thriving, then I'm your girl. Because healing your money story is possible.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Hey, Levon.
Hey,
Oh, we have one.
Lavanya. Looking
We
like,
got
who is
one.
this
Yeah,
lady?
I love it. I love it. I see everyone coming in the room. If you just joined, we are about to wrap up, but you can definitely catch the replay on the Beyond the Busyness YouTube channel. Every week we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern. And so we always have the replays there. Jen had another question, Shanti. She said, do you set any financial goals for yourself?
Absolutely, yes, I do. I do it quarterly. So I say I'm gonna make this amount in this quarter. And if I don't, I gotta make it up in the next quarter. But if I overdo it, then that's my treat for me. I
I
always
love
have
it.
one every quarter. And then I go back and look and see, where I miss, because sometimes I do miss. I'm human. And then sometimes I go beyond. It's about giving yourself grace and compassion. You have to in this business.
Yes,
You got to. Because every month ain't gonna be the same. Shit, every
that's
week ain't gonna be the same.
the
You,
show won't.
you have to
Nope.
give yourself grace and compassion.
That is so true. Make sure that's one of y'all biggest takeaways from tonight is give your own self grace and compassion. Because sometimes we do fall short, right, on our goals, but you want to make sure that it's not all the time, but you
Yes.
want to make sure you do give yourself grace and compassion because things happen, right? Things come up, and
Yeah.
life be life in some time. So before we leave, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows next week we're going to be starting our book club. It's going to be on the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power by Dr. Boyce Watkins. And I put the link in the chat for you all. So this is the book here. Make sure you order a copy. I know some of you already have a copy. So this is the book. And I'm going to be reading it. So I'll be reading you a bedtime story. And we're going to go through it and we're going to talk about these different ways we can implement economic consciousness into our finances, but we're going to talk about it from a feeling standpoint, right? From a heart
Ooh,
standpoint. So make sure you get your copy if you don't have one already.
that's gonna be.
Yeah, come back and join us, Shanti. You're
Oh,
always
yeah, baby, I'm
welcome.
copying this link right now. I'm in that
Yes.
thing.
Awesome, awesome. And invite y'all family and friends. You know, you can invite men too. It's okay. I know this is a feminine space, but if you have, brothers, husbands, or whatever who you want to read the book along with, even if you don't have the book, still come because I'll be reading it. But I do recommend you having your own copy so you can create your action plan because it's one thing to sit and come to these events, but I always want you to actually take action because faith without works is dead. So you can say, "Oh, I want X, Y, Z to happen," but what are you doing to make it happen, right?
Yes.
So let's thank Shanti in the chat. Let's thank her for her
Thank
time.
y'all. It was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for dropping all those gems. Remember, um, oh, Levon, what part should I share in the group? Let me know, and I will definitely get it shared in the group for you. So make sure you follow her, Shawnti Refuge Journal. I know that's one of her handles on Instagram and TikTok. Her website is up on the screen, ShawntiRefuge.com. So you can learn more about her and her journals that can help you release the inner trauma. You're welcome, Juice.
Yes,
That's my
absolutely.
juice. So y'all have a great night, and we will see you next week, same time, same place, God willing. And have a good night. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, bye, y'all.